Rolex were formed in London in 1905. They did relocate to Switzerland a few years later. The history of any big company, and Rolex is without doubt one of the biggest companies in the world, something happened to actually make what's a great company into an amazing company. In 1926, Rolex launched the first commercially available waterproof watch. This one's a little bit later, into the 1930s, and it's called an Oyster cushion. There's no magic behind that name, cushion, because it's square. It's rectangular, they call it a tank. This is the slightly larger version, solid 9-carat gold. And interestingly, in 1927, Hans Wilsdorf found out that a lady called Mercedes, and I pronounce this wrong, I think it's Giselle, swam the English Channel, the first woman to swim the channel in the history. He asked her to do it again in 1927, wearing a watch very similar to this. And they had lots of photographers around to make sure that people caught the moment. At the end of the swim, she was asked the time, and of course it was spot on. A, because it's Rolex, and B, because it's waterproof. They're called 3-piece cases, because you can take the top part of the case and the bottom part, leaving the middle. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful piece of history. It has a genuine Rolex patented crown. I mentioned once before, I think it was 1937 when Rolex began to introduce the crown on their watches and on their winding crowns. This one obviously doesn't have that because it's older than that. Just a beautiful thing, blued steel hands. We believe the dial is certainly original to the watch, but we also believe it's untouched. It may have been cleaned, but it has everything about it that would suggest it hasn't been refinished in any way. Watch sits on a lovely crocodile skin strap. In those days they had what's called fixed lugs or wire lugs. If you can just look on there, so you had basically a solid piece of gold going across and back into the case. So the straps actually fold under and over and are glued in. It was only later on when they brought in spring pins and so on and so forth. This example was made in 1937 and we got it listed at £3,500.